Hi, everyone. Connie Myers here. I am so excited about this presentation. Let me start by just telling you that when Cami Baker, thank you, Cami, for joining me. When Cami Baker started telling me about what she was doing with charitable giving of real estate and what she was telling me about community funds and me with my brand new nonprofit, I was like, I'm on it. And what you're going to hear today, I didn't realize until today that I actually had a personal experience with charitable giving of real estate, which I'll be talking about toward the end. I hand chose the people that are watching this because this requires somebody that is purpose driven, is service oriented. And I chose you because I know.
That's okay. Keep it personal. We got a cat picture.
I chose you because I know you personally. Minnie, I've known for like 20 plus years. And I know that you're service oriented. And I know you're leaders in the industry. And I know that this is something that is right down your alley. So we'll talk a little bit more about it in the end after Cami's finished. But Cami, take it away.
Well, Connie, first and foremost, what an honor to just call you my friend and to be on the board of your nonprofit and to be coming together to bring charitable gifting of real estate to all the real estate people you know, all the nonprofits in the world. This is a big, big mission. And if you're watching this, you could be the right kind of person to be a charitable real estate specialist. So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to bang through about a 30-minute overview to share with you why this is so important, why you've never heard of it, and how you can actually make money making a difference. So let's do it. Here we go. So Connie and I have come together to bring you how to create a purpose-driven career listing donated real estate. Listing donated real estate. What? What even is that? That's what I said 3 years ago. Well, the first part we're going to talk about is why this is so purposeful and profitable. We're going to talk about what is donated real estate, why you've never heard of it, why property owners are wanting and trying to donate real estate, and who they are, by the way, and how you can be the go-to specialist, you, your team, your office, your company. Friends, there's 1.5 million nonprofits in this country. Every one of them have gifts of real estate. We just need to help them understand how they can be facilitated risk-free and with no money out of pocket to them. So part number one, why this is purposeful and profitable. I love to start all our presentations by just giving you a taste of what a gift of real estate looks like. This was about 2 months ago when Mackenzie Scott donated 2 houses that total $55 million in donation to the nonprofit world. Friends, this is not about gas stations out Route 66 with tumbleweeds. This isn't about property that others can't unload, so they'll just give it to the nonprofit. No, this is about leaving legacy. This is about altruism and at its best, and it's about great tax deductions, not to mention full commissions for real estate agents. So in order for us to really delve into this, please allow me to share for maybe 5 minutes a little bit of the story that brings us to this video today. Here's the purpose part. Here's how we know that nonprofits need this so much. So my background is I was a real estate agent in New Hampshire, as a matter of fact, for 15 years. And when I first moved to New Hampshire, I was new to the area. I didn't know a soul. I was newly sober, and I had a baby that was less than a year old. So what better thing to do than get into real estate, right? That's why we get our license. So my daughter is a big part of my story, and I share that because, most of us that are watching this are women, and isn't it true that our families are so important to us? And I wanted to be with her at her field trips, and I knew that real estate would give me that freedom. And so the first company I was with was Remax, and that's only important because they had the hot air balloon. And I was always a guerrilla marketer. I was selling gum to other kids at school when I was 8 years old for a profit. So always looking for ways to improve what's going on. So I grabbed that hot air balloon and I would bring the mayor and the governor, and I would get the media to come out. It was a big deal to bring that thing. You know, all the RE/MAX agents out there that don't use it really should be. And then I moved my license over to Century 21. They wanted to do a TV show. It was called the Real Estate Road Show. And we did that for a while, just to kind of show there's a lot of guerrilla marketing and really understanding how to get in front of people and be seen and be heard. And I actually sent in a tape to audition for HGTV. My House is Worth What. I beat out 6,000 other realtors back then. And then they actually introduced me to House Hunters, and I did an episode of House Hunters. So I did a lot of real estate, friends. The reason that I'm sharing that with you, you're all in real estate and you know what it's like to be out in the bushes, you know, competing for our commission and negotiating and door knocking and cold calling. I called expireds and for sale by owners. And I went to 5 and 6 networking events in a day. So I really get what all of my real estate friends are up against, wanting to have that unique niche and not really knowing how to stand out and differentiate. So this car is a scoop. It was the 64.5 Mustang that I bought with my first big commission check. And that car leads us to today, because with that car, I started doing these car shows. And at the car shows, every car that came up had a $20 bill in their hand, and they were registering for the car show. And I wasn't doing the car shows to make a couple $100. I was doing it to promote my business. But I realized 50 cars times $20, that's $1,000. There's a lot of nonprofits that can use that. So for 7 years in a row, I did this car show and was giving money to Ronald McDonald House, Make-A-Wish, Live and Let Live Farm. We rescued horses, children with cancer, just doing a lot of things in the community. And I became known for cause marketing a for-profit with a cause nonprofit in mind. And with that in mind, I was being hired by other real estate professionals and financial professionals in Main Street USA. The woman there in the tan, her name is Karen. She was the president of the board in that area. And as she was going out of her office, she hired me personally to help her do cause marketing campaigns so that she could leave a legacy. And this was a diaper drive that we did. We raised up 8,000 diapers for women who are coming off opioids and having babies. This was another client of mine. We did a toy drive at her office. This is Jacksonville Real Estate Investor Group. They wanted me to come down and teach what I was doing with cause marketing. And I said, only if I can practice what I preach. And so we did a coat drive, and that's what's behind us on that table. So what happened was I started teaching people how to market their business with causes in mind long before I heard about charitable gifting of real estate. Matter of fact, we did, this is a flyer for Habitat for Humanity that we did with a real estate owner. Realtors for Recovery is actually the organization that I created with that president of the board. We did coat drives in Boston. I was up in the New England marketplace, very cold there. We did animal rescue fundraisers. We did poker runs. We did packing boxes for our veterans and sending overseas to our enlisted folks. So the point of the matter, ladies, is this. This is something that we've been doing for many, many years. And it was just 3 years ago that I was at a convention just before the pandemic, and I learned about this charitable gifting of real estate. So I just want you to see the background, that there was a lot of real estate and door knocking and cold calling from the real estate perspective, and guerrilla marketing and being seen and being heard, and then a lot of fundraising that was going on. And that is why when I saw charitable gifting of real estate that day, I guess I saw it differently than anyone had in 100 years, because my first thought was, there are 2 million realtors. Let's bring it to 1% of us who want to be socially responsible, who need a unique sales proposition, who want the community to get funded by millions of dollars from real estate. So now we are traveling the country. This is what it looks like to have a sign. Imagine having a sign in the yard, and right next to it, a sign that says, 100% of the proceeds are going to fund nonprofits. This picture was actually in the newspaper. It's in the book. Real estate is hot, fundraising is not. This is our RV. We're traveling the country, teaching realtors, financial advisors, nonprofits how to come together and have real estate create real change. List the Legacy Listing Month is in April. It's our public awareness campaign, if you will. We started it last year. And this book is in Barnes and Nobles, Books a Million, 30,000 locations worldwide. And it is really the playbook. It's how this whole thing works. So just want to share with you a little bit about what brings us all here today. Because the fact is, our communities need us. Whether you love animals, veterans, children, your church, universities, all of them, 1.5 million are desperately in need of funding, and we have the solution. So this is another example of a gift of real estate. This happened in Rhode Island just a couple of years ago. And let's talk about the profit part. In other words, obviously, funding nonprofits is a beautiful thing. Obviously, we want to help Connie fund her nonprofit. She wants to help 30 million families in the United States be more prepared, and that's going to take funding. So let's also talk about what's in it for us. Like, how can we make money making a difference? Well, first of all, this is the biggest social responsibility campaign ever, meaning we don't have to pick just 1 or 3 or 5 nonprofits that we have the time for, or that we're giving 10% of our commission. No, the way this works, you can get paid to help all nonprofits in your marketplace. So customers and clients and consumers have spoken. They have been polled numerous times, and they will reward you and your office and your agents when you're socially responsible. They will hire you over the competition. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of really interesting numbers around this. I won't stop to read all of these, but what these numbers are saying is, 70 to 92% of consumers will change companies when one is on purpose and the other isn't. 71% of millennials won't even work for your company if you're not socially responsible. 87% of consumers will choose the realtor, the title company, the mortgage person, the attorney, the dog walker that is on purpose. It is what it is. So this is part of why this is so profitable. The other thing is, who are the nonprofits that you want to serve and support? I certainly hope you want to help our nonprofit. And we also want you to know this isn't just about Connie's nonprofit. This is about her mindset of helping all nonprofits. These are the kinds of collaborative people that come together here at the Real Agents of Change. So what if you didn't have to pick just 1 or 3 or 10 nonprofits? What if you could get paid to help all of them? What if you had dozens of realtors in the marketplace that were helping those 499 to 5,000 nonprofits per county in this country? So the big question is, what would the cause, the community, the multiple causes that you know and love, what would they do with $550,000? And if we were in a live event, I'd stop and I'd ask each and every one of you, what would your church do with it? What would your soup kitchen do with it? Connie, what would your nonprofit? As a matter of fact, at the end, we'll ask Connie, what would your nonprofit do with that kind of money? And the reason we ask that specific number is because that is the average donation from one piece of real estate. Now, for those of us who are used to doing golf tournaments and car shows and bake sales, you got to sell a lot of stale cookies at $2 a piece to raise that kind of money, but it only takes one donor with the stroke of a pen to raise this kind of money for a nonprofit. So talking about the profit aspect here. Now, I'm in Florida, so we talk a lot about the Florida numbers, but this is true for any state. And we've got a link that we can share with you to tell you where to go find out how many nonprofits are in your state. But 1.5 million nonprofits nationwide, 160,000 right here in Florida. Gosh, there's 2 million, give or take, depending on what month you're looking and what website you go to. There's 200,000 of them in Florida. Point is, it's very competitive. There are a lot of nonprofits that need funding and a lot of realtors who need listings and clients and exposure. So let me just put some specific numbers behind this, and then we could do the math for your own area as well. Now, in Florida, there is an average of 2,400 nonprofits per county. Now, what if 10% of those, what if 10% of the nonprofits in one county were to get a gift of real estate? But that might seem a little pie in the sky. So let's just bring it down to 1%. 1 out of 100 nonprofits, if they were to get a gift of real estate. Now let's talk about the numbers here. The average donation is $550,000. That is the equity, not the list price. So if 1% of nonprofits in this county, on average in Florida, and by the way, in Sarasota, Manatee County, there's 8,000 nonprofits. In Tampa, there's 11,000 nonprofits. In Orlando, there's 12,000 nonprofits. So your county, we'll look up your county and we'll find out when we meet. So 24 times that, $13 million into the community. How many kids would that feed? How many bigger places can your church move into for that kind of money? How many veterans are suffering? Shame on this country for not taking better care of the people who went and fought for us. So 13 million for that county. And as an agent, let's just put the number of 5% of commission, because it is what it is, whatever it is. It could be land, it could be residential, it could be commercial. Now, this is based on just the equity. Keep in mind that we're talking about these kinds of listings. So once again, here this is a 8 months ago, this house was donated. These aren't people who are trying to get rid of eyesores and albatrosses and garbage property that they can't give away. These are generous people. Friends, there is a whole genre of people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s right now that either A, don't have children to leave their stuff to, B, don't want to leave it to their children, C, their kids are already okay, don't need them to leave anything. This is happening. $9 billion a year is donated to nonprofits through our blessed industry of real estate. So let's talk about, what is this? Well, why have I never heard of it before? Why are people wanting to do this? Well, here's what we need to know. Donors are a yes. Yes to what? Well, we don't convince or sell people on donating real estate. We don't try to talk them into it. We don't try to talk realtors into wanting to get paid a full commission to list donated real estate. With what we do, the people that it's right for are a yes. So when donors are altruistic, when they are veterans, when they, were saved from cancer and want to help find a cure, when they are, concerned about the environment or want to help their local alma mater, friends, 80% of these gifts are done by people who are doing it for just the right reasons. Now, 20%, it is because it's a tax deduction. It does make sense from an estate planning perspective. They do save on capital gains tax. They do get to write off the appraised value as the basis of their tax deduction. So donors are a yes. They are wanting to donate real estate for these reasons and so many more. And where you find them, you know what? We get into that a lot more in the Charitable Real Estate Masterclass, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. So $9 billion a year, average is $550,000. This has been happening since 1917. And you might be thinking, well, if 99% of these donations need a realtor and $9 billion a year is happening, how come I haven't heard of it? Well, we're going to share that with you in just a minute, because this is why the Real Agents of Change was created. This is why taking a legacy listing is a no-brainer. See, these are listings just like any listing you've ever had, only now when it closes, you get a full commission guaranteed, and you know that there is legacy going to the nonprofit world. The donor is leaving legacy, and you get to leave legacy too. So 100 plus years, really? 1917, 9 billion a year. I've never heard of it. If it's so great, why I haven't heard of it? Well, I hear you on that. And the fact is this: the reason that realtors haven't been taught about it, and the reason we've never heard of it, and the reason that the nonprofits are struggling is because of those 1.5 million nonprofits, 99.9% are not only not asking for real estate, they are turning it down when it's offered. Now, we get into a lot more detail at the master class, but they turn it down because it's risky and they are afraid of risk. And friends, I wrote the book on it, and you're a broker, you're an influencer. Even if all of us sit on the board, just like I sit on Connie's board, even if they had that kind of expertise, what about the money? What about paying off mortgages? What about holding costs and HOA fees and all that stuff? That's why we've never heard of it, is because if nonprofits won't take real estate, there's been no reason to teach it to realtors up until now. And the other reason is because people haven't known about the third way that donors can help nonprofits from the proceeds of real estate. So the first way you could probably figure out, well, Cammie, why doesn't the donor just go sell the property and give Connie's nonprofit the proceeds? Well, they can. Let's say Connie's nonprofit, she's out in Vegas. Let's say there's a donor who says, I love you so much. I got $1 million condo in Florida. The kids are all set. I need a tax deduction anyway. You know what? You can have that. So Connie says, well, tell you what, Bob, go sell your condo and give me the proceeds. This is common. This is what happens more often than not. And the problem with that is now Bob is paying capital gains tax. He is paying all kinds of taxes that he did not need to pay if he had donated it. So ultimately, the nonprofit receives the least amount of donations. The donor receives the least amount of tax benefits. And it is the most inefficient, ineffective, frankly, lazy, old-fashioned way for people to do it that just flat don't know any better. It's the worst way. Now, the second way, let's say Connie's out in Vegas, the condo's in Florida, it's $1 million condo, Bob's got a $200,000 mortgage on it, and he says, I tell you what, Connie, I want to donate this to you. I want the tax deduction. I want this to go to a 501c3. Well, let's say Connie tries to take the donation. In other words, the second way is if the donor donates it directly to the nonprofit that they want to benefit. Here's the problem with that. Connie's nonprofit's going to have to pay off that $200,000 mortgage, because in order for this Bob to get his tax deduction, the property has to exchange hands with a 501c3. And we all know that property can't exchange hands unless it's lien free. So somebody's got to pay off that $200,000 mortgage. And no matter how much I love Connie, I sit on her board, I'm not paying off the $200,000 mortgage. Good news is we have a solution, but stay with me. So the nonprofit would have to pay off the mortgage, and they would have to take on all the responsibilities and risk that they just don't have. So the fact is 99.9% of nonprofits will not do it. They just won't. And so this is the hardest way, because even those that do take real estate, it takes them months, and it's just a really painful, arduous process. There are some nonprofits like Cars for Kids. There's some universities, there's some places that do take real estate, and we talk about those at the master class as well. But when they take it, They take it for themselves. They don't take it to give Connie the proceeds. So there's a third way. Now, here's another example, a whole country club, whole golf club that was donated to this university. They're happening all over the country, friends. So let's talk about the third way. The third part of this presentation is how you can be the go-to specialist. And we're going to talk about this third win-win-win way of having the property facilitated with no risk and no money out of pocket for the nonprofit and giving you a full commission. So the third way, here we are, the real agents of change. We have a team of experts. And in our team of experts is something we call a specialized nonprofit. And the specialized nonprofit is a 501c3 whose sole reason for existing is to take real estate gifts on behalf of any and all other nonprofits. They pay off the $200,000 mortgage. They take title. They give the donor the tax benefits that they're looking for in a very easy way, which is why this makes it risk-free for Connie's nonprofit. Now there's this condo in Florida. It's $1 million value. This specialized nonprofit took the title to it, no risk to her. There was no money out of her pocket to have this facilitated. This specialized nonprofit has the capital in case, there's a new roof or something, or parking lot needs to be paved or what have you. Bargain sale means that there was a mortgage to pay off. If the donor wanted any cash back, if there's any money exchanging hands, it's called a bargain sale, and we can handle that. The donor, Bob, his mortgage of $200,000 was paid off. He was off the deed to this property in less than 30 days. He got his tax benefit immediately, and then the property is put on the market with a real estate agent in that area. If it's you, you get a full commission. If you're referring it, you get a referral fee. The nonprofit world receives the maximum donation. The donor receives the maximum benefits, and 100% of the 1.5 million nonprofits are eligible for this program. It is a win-win-win for everyone. Now, here's some reasons why it's a win for the nonprofits. The endowments can grow at 6 times the rate of cash-only nonprofits. Dr. Russell James is the foremost authority in all of this. He wrote the foreword for our book, and they've done the research. They have read 1 million tax returns from 200,000 nonprofits. They've already proven this. Donors give 3 to 7 times more. So Connie's nonprofit is brand new, but let's say this first year she brings in $100,000 in cash. That's really great. That's really nice. But those same donors, when you think about it, one donation averages 550, 600,000 right off the bat. Donors can give 3 to 7 times more because they're asset rich and cash conservative. No additional donors are needed. So thinking about the Boys and Girls Club and the church and the Wounded Warriors and all these places, in those donor lists, there are gifts of real estate. We just need to help them find them and facilitate them. Here's why it's a win for the donor. No capital gains tax. They can leverage the appraised value as the basis for their tax deduction. We give all kinds of examples of this at the masterclass. They give smarter from their wealth bucket. Real estate is 43% of our wealth in this nation. Cash, less than 3%. Cash change, pocket change, wealth bucket. Pocket change, wealth bucket. All these nonprofits have been getting pocket change. We are shifting that so that they can 6 times what they're bringing in from the wealth bucket. And ultimately, the donor can leave legacy. And because 80% of these donations are done by people with a big heart who want to see 30 million families more crisis prepared and kits for kids and all the schools, in other words, they do it for the right reasons. Now, why is it a win for you? You get a full commission. How do we guarantee that? Because specialized nonprofit takes title, donor's happy, they're done, they got their tax deduction, they're not your client. Specialized nonprofit is. They want to give you a full commission, they want you to be incentivized. You can attract 87% of your marketplace. It is proven. Customers, clients, and consumers will choose the realtor that is on purpose. And it doesn't have to be just the veterans or just your church or just your kids' PTA. It can be all nonprofits in your marketplace. You can make money making a difference. Put money in your pocket instead of taking it out to serve and support all the nonprofits. Now, this beautiful couple donated $129 million in one whack. When people say, well, that's all well and good, Cami, but who would really donate real estate? Well, the kind of people that you want your Rolodex, the kind of people that you want on speed dial, the ones that are generous, the ones that are wealthy, the ones that want to help the community, the ones that need a tax deduction. That's who. Imagine getting referral fees for this property all over the country. Now, you can't be the go-to specialist. We created the Certified Charitable Real Estate Specialist, CCRES program. We've been doing this for a couple of years. And the fact is, we're looking for 1%. We're not looking for everyone. It may or may not be for you, but we are looking for charitable real estate divisions in every state, in every major area. And you are hand chosen because Connie thinks you got what it takes. So this is to be the specialist for all the nonprofits in your marketplace, all the high net worth people in your marketplace. Think about all the people that have multiple properties all over the country and need to simplify their estate when they're getting older. It just is what it is, friends. They're going to liquidate that property one way or another. Now, what about the CPAs and the financial advisors and the wealth managers and the mortgage companies and title companies and all these people out there that know people who want to be philanthropic and know people who need a tax deduction? And they don't know any other realtor that's doing this. By 2025, they will, but you can be it for right now. The staff, every one of those nonprofits, did you know that 1 out of every 10 Americans is employed by a nonprofit? 10% of this country, 35 million or so at this point, 35 million people are employed by nonprofits, and they all buy and sell real estate. Why would they work with anybody else? When you are the realtor who is helping the property owners to give smarter, when you're the one that is not just doing the golf tournament and the bake sale and the galas that we've all done, we've all been doing them for years. I have sold more raffle tickets and put on more events than it is what it is. We've all been trying our best. But when we are the one that can help facilitate $500,000 to that nonprofit, when you learn how to leverage real estate for real change, why would any of those people work with anybody else? It doesn't even make sense. You be the solution. Now, here's a case study, and we're going to wrap it up. This brings it all together. Berkeley Humane Society, December of 2021. Donor comes to the table. It's December 10th. He says, hey, I got these 12, turned out to be 13 lots. I need a tax deduction. Need it in the next 21 days. Can you do it? Teams that we work with, absolutely. The donor was off the deed in a couple of weeks. Now that the specialized nonprofit has the real estate, put it on the market. When that first donation sold, that nonprofit got $406,000. They said, never heard of this. Didn't even know it was possible. Can we get more of that? We said, yeah, just tell people. Pick up the phone. Tell people, hey, Bob, I know you're a veteran. Hey, Mary, I know you love the animals. Hey, just want to let you know, we don't have any idea how this works, but you can donate real estate to help our nonprofit. So the second piece came in. A woman had a house that was left to her by her mom. She said, I'll never use it anyway. And she got $646,000 to that nonprofit. So the moral of the story is this. One nonprofit 2 donations over a 6-month period. They brought in over $1 million. And if you go to their website now, you see they have a really fancy widget, a whole page full of widgets to help you figure out how much of a tax deduction you get from donating real estate. But they didn't have that until they brought in 2 pieces from telling people. So here's what it looks like, my friends. Charitable Real Estate Specialist. It includes the Charitable Real Estate Masterclass. Now, we do this thing live on the 1st and the 3rd Tuesday of the month. We also have it recorded in a back office portal. You can watch it 24/7, and we highly encourage you to come to the class as many times as you like. We have people that have been to that class 15, 20 times. It's that good. It also includes you getting certified. So we're the only organization in the world that is teaching realtors about charitable gifting of real estate and certifying them. This is it. You want to get certified? This is part of it. And we have this really fun interactive map. So when people are searching for real estate professionals, financial advisors, nonprofits, people that understand charitable gifting of real estate, they come to the map and you get put on the map. So as a specialist, you are certified, on the map, come into the master class as much as you like. And it used to be, it is $400 if you go to our website. If you go to therock.com/store, you'll see it for $400. But with CKM, because they are so in alignment with us, and because they are wanting the realtors that they love so much to get this, to be a part of it, we've agreed to do a $97 special. Now, this is only through midnight, the last day of January 31st. I believe that's Monday and Tuesday next week. So if you want the $97 special, all you have to do is go to therock.com/CKM, therock.com/CKM. And I'm actually going to share, and you also get, by the way, 2 VIP tickets with you to the masterclass. So when people become specialists and they've got a nonprofit that needs to learn about this, or their title company needs to learn about it, or their mom wants to know about it, 2 VIP tickets twice a month. You can bring people and you get unlimited email support with this package. Now, what I want to show you page with CKM looks like. Because if you don't know about CKM, you'll want to. Crisis Knowledge Management. So when you come to this site, you can learn a little bit more about Connie's nonprofit, and you can just come here to pay the $97 to become a specialist. And that's it, Connie. That's what I got.
I am so grateful for that conversation. It was so wonderful, the presentation you did. I mentioned earlier that I personally have an experience, and I would like to share a picture here. So this is this gentleman on the right is my brother. And I was born and raised, I was the 4th generation of a farm in Nebraska. And when my mom passed away, my sisters and I were not farmers, and my brother was managing it anyway, so we sold our share to him. A few years ago, he donated the farm to the hospital that we all were born in, and my grandmother worked in for 30 years as a baker. And the hospital got almost $3 million based upon the value of the farm. Now, it was auctioned off, but just think if you were the real estate agent for that property and where you could be. So I think it's really important to understand we're not a rich family. We're not multimillionaires. We had a lot of equity in the land that was 4 generations old. And that is why we were able to do that. So when Cammie mentioned to me about having the real estate and how it works with real estate, I was blown away. But then when she started talking about the community fund, the community funds foundations, I went over the top because I've got a brand new nonprofit and I need funding. I need funding. And I'm hoping maybe one of you will find a way to add me to your list of nonprofits that you want to help. But I can tell you that the bottom line is I'm going to be out there. I'm going to be talking to community funds. I'm going to be talking to other nonprofits. And when I told Cammie, I said, I want to do something special for the people that I know. So she was very generous, put together the program, $97 program. The nonprofit Crisis Knowledge Management is just launching. So we're brand new. And I started the nonprofit because back in 2020, when California Association of Realtors took on my Crisis Knowledge Management certification, I started working at it as a for-profit and realized that there was a lot more that I could do as a nonprofit. So we're launching it, and I'm so glad, Cammie, I've got a great board of directors. I'm looking for people, and our first launch is in Southern California. Our first initiative is called Kits for Kids. I already have a couple of associations down there that we're partnering with to do this. So I'm hoping that you will see what a benefit this is, because we could work as a team and make sure this all comes together. There's a course, the course is all included, the book is all included now within the nonprofit, and I'm running a distressed properties. All that's going to be available to you through the nonprofit. So there'll be some more information about that. I'll be sending it out to you. Just know that, like she said, 87% of people will do business with people that want to make the world a better place. My vision is to help 30 million people be better prepared and more sustainable. And you know how important that is to NAR and all of the local associations. That's all the buzzword right now. Resilience, giving back, and making a difference. So thank you so much for joining us. And I'll be in touch with each one of you to answer any questions and steer you to Cammie if I can't answer them. But I think you can see how, even if this isn't the vast majority of your business, even if it's a part of your business, look how much it's going to help you give back, how much bigger a marketplace you're going to have, a market share, and you'll be making a difference with making good money at the same time. So Cammie, thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to our next conversation.
Can't wait. See you later, Connie.
Bye-bye.